Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're looking at a pretty structural argument. It's the claim that the U.S. free market has been quietly replaced by what our sources are calling a compliance caste system.
Or permission economy.
Exactly. Okay, let's unpack this. So the core idea is that we've shifted from what you might call an efficiency economy
Right, where the best idea or the lowest cost wins.
to this permission economy where your ability to even participate depends on getting these expensive state-granted permission slips first.
And this is not just some academic theory. The evidence is massive. We're talking about a regulatory burden that has metastasized. It's a genuine macroeconomic crisis. To get a sense of the scale, you have to start with the numbers. As of 2022, the estimated total cost of federal regulations is, well, it's a mind-boggling $3.079 trillion.
Whoa, okay. 3.079 trillion.
Trillion, yeah.
That number is so big it's almost meaningless. What does that actually represent?
Well, for starters, it's about 12% of the entire U.S. GDP. But here's the comparison that really lands. That regulatory cost, that $3.079 trillion, is actually more than the entire economic output of the U.S. manufacturing sector.
Wait, say that again?
We spend more on complying with rules than we generate by, actually building things in this country.
So the system is, in effect, more expensive than our entire manufacturing base. So is this basically a kind of regressive tax on anyone trying to start something new?
It is. That's exactly what the caste system analogy is getting at. If you look at the data, small businesses, we're talking fewer than 50 employees. They pay around $50,100 per employee per year just on compliance.
50,000. And for big companies.
For large firms, it's about $29,100.
So that's a $21,000 difference.
Right.
Per employee. That's not a barrier to entry. That's a kill switch for a startup.
It functions that way, yes. It forces capital that should be going into innovation, R&D, new hires, and instead it gets locked into these completely non-productive assets. You're hiring compliance officers instead of engineers.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Because that huge macro barrier creates these absurd situations on the micro level. It creates what the sources call honest criminals.
People who are just trying to create value but don't have the state's permission slip.
Exactly. Take the grandmother baking pies at home, a classic example. For years, in a place like Wisconsin, if you sold a home-baked cookie without a commercial kitchen license, you could face jail time.
And even when laws change, they put in these choke points. In Missouri, they have a cottage food law, but there's a $50,000 revenue cap.
So if your small bakery becomes too successful, if you make $50,001,
you're instantly illegal. The system actively punishes growth and pushes successful microbusinesses into the shadows.
This pattern is just pure protectionism, and you see it weaponized in occupational licensing. The hair braiding example is just perfect.
Oh, it's fascinating. You have African hair braiders who use no chemicals at all being forced to get 1,500, sometimes 2,100 hours of cosmetology training.
Training that costs up to $18,000.
For skills they will never, ever use, like giving perms or doing manicures. It's pure gatekeeping by the established cosmetology boards.
And the market proved it, right, when Mississippi got rid of that requirement.
They replaced it with a simple $25 registration fee. And almost overnight, over 6,700 jobs were liberated. The entrepreneurs were always there, just waiting.
So it all comes back to this one mechanism. Whether it's the hotel lobby fighting short-term rentals, the corruption club, as the sources call it, or cosmetology boards protecting their turf, public safety just becomes a code word for economic protectionism.
So what does this all mean? It means the system increasingly views the average person not as a source of innovation, but as a source of revenue from fees and fines, or as a threat to the established order.
So if the whole system is built to process forms rather than to actually foster value, here's the thought we want to leave you with. What essential productive work is happening right now, today, in that shadow economy, totally hidden from view, just waiting to be liberated?